Stand by SOT1.
Standing.
10 seconds. Ready, rolling. Ready, SOT1.
Ready.
In 4, 3, 2, 1. Roll in.
From legendary Uncle Studios in beautiful Southern California, welcome to another edition of Work Comp Matters, the central location for you employees, you employers, and of course, we haven't forgotten about you damn independent contractors. And now, here's this week's edition of Work Comp Matters. Al, and you know what's interesting is because we're simulcasting for the first time on Work Comp Matters into Clubhouse, is that although you guys in the social media Facebook live live stream did not hear me clearing my throat, I think that other people on the other side did. But nevertheless, welcome to another edition of Work Comp Matters. And we are brought to you by the mancavepodcasting.com. If you want to do your own podcast anywhere in the world, all you have to do is talk. All you need is a smartphone or a computer. And for one low price, $50. And I don't mean 50 a week. I don't mean 50 a month. I don't mean 50 a year. I mean $50 one time forever. We will produce, direct, manage your podcast, stream it live on social media, and then get it into the cloud, mancavepodcasting.com, forever. One time, $50 fee. Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Steve Appel. I'm joined by the madman across the water, the socialist voice of reason in Munich, Germany, Mr. John Scalia. And we are simulcasting on Clubhouse. John still has his party hat. And John, how do you like your party hat? And are you looking forward to it going away, hopefully, by the end of the weekend?
Yeah, well, since it doesn't get me into a party, I'm looking forward to it going away by the end of the weekend.
So for those of you that don't know, John grew up in California, and he was educated, and he went to law school and school in California, was an attorney for 40 plus years, maybe even up to 45 for employment and labor law. And about 7-8 years ago, he decided, you know what? He's a socialist. He's going to leave California and then not only live or move out, but live the socialist life in Munich, Germany. So, John, besides snow, how is Munich, Germany today, right now?
Oh, it's really nice. I mean, but of course, you realize Europe is now the epicenter of the COVID pandemic. We're the center of the new infection rate. There's a new variant that's been discovered from South Africa.
I was going to say from South Africa, yeah.
Yeah, and so, in fact, the funny thing is, I got a letter today from the health minister in the state of Bavaria, well, actually from the city of Munich, and it's reminding me that my vaccination is almost 5 months old and telling me where I can go to get my booster shot. So they're already on it. Plus, they've already initiated, because some venues are requiring people to not only have proof that you're fully vaccinated, but a recent quick test to prove you're negative. And so some of those quick test centers have now been reopened in Munich, and they're free. The shot's free. The test centers are free. So if I was going to have to pay for it, I wasn't going to bother. But as long as it's once again free, I guess I'll do it if I want to get into a venue. But it's really kind of irritating, to be honest.
Well, what I find irritating, John, is that on April 1, I went down to Pierce College, and I went before the Los Angeles Fire Department, and I said, I want my Johnson & Johnson one and done. And on April 1, I got jabbed, and I was told it would be one and done. And, I remember in the 30 days or 45 days leading up to it, I was told by family, close friends, Steve, it doesn't matter what type of vaccine you get, just get vaccinated. And I said, no, 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 no. I don't want the Pfizer. I don't want the Moderna. I want the J&J one and done, because I'm going to get jabbed once and then I don't have to worry about it anymore. And now here we are like 6 months later, and I not only have to get a booster, but now I might have to be boosted like once or twice a year for the rest of my life until they find a cure. John, that seriously bothers me.
Yeah, I really, this whole thing is becoming really annoying. I realize people are dying, but as somebody who is in allegedly a high risk group, well, it's not allegedly, I'm 75 years old, so I am in the high risk group. I find it seriously annoying. And I'll say what I've said from the beginning. I mean, I'm no anti-vaxxer. I got my 2 shots as quickly as I could, and I will go get the booster. But, I still think that the statistics are not being developed finely enough to really tell us who's at risk from all of this. I seriously suspect that comorbidities are the key to everything, and that the other stuff is essentially irrelevant. As you know, I'm a runner. I've run 4 marathons in Europe. I ran one in 2019, full marathon. I'm physically fit. I'm, in really good health. So I've said from the beginning that I really had my doubts as to whether I was actually in a, quote, high risk group that they were telling me just because of my chronological age, which certainly does not match up to my biological age. And I don't think the stats have been honed finely enough for anybody to really say anything definitive. And when you look at what's happening now, there is proof that the vaccinated people are suffering at a much lower rate than the unvaccinated, that the unvaccinated are causing the surge. But I still say, the statistics aren't fine enough to tell you whether even among the unvaccinated, maybe they're unhealthy to begin with. Maybe they have comorbidities more than the vaccinated people. Who knows? And it would be nice to have those stats. As I jokingly say, when people run for president in the United States, they're able to tell you, a left-handed tennis player who plays on Tuesday, how they're going to vote. And so the statistical analyses and the statistical methodologies are there for us to know things pretty well and pretty finely, but it hasn't been done so far. So that's what I say about that. And as I say, I'm not an anti-vaxxer, but all this, anybody could be annoyed at this point in the game.
You're dialed into Work Comp Matters on the mancavepodcasting.com network. If you want to do your own podcast where all you have to do is talk, mancavepodcasting.com. And we will get your own podcast for a very low fee on the air. We'll manage it, we'll direct it, we'll produce it, and then put it into the cloud forever, all for only $50, not 50 a day, not 50 a week, not 50 a month, not 50 a year, $50 one-time fee, and your own podcast is there in perpetuity. There's a little legal language for you. And John, you were a 40-plus year attorney in beautiful Southern California, and now it's snowing where you are in Munich, Germany. I think here, I'm in the West San Fernando Valley. We've got hazy blue skies, maybe about 70, 75 degrees. It's absolutely gorgeous in Southern California.
It's always gorgeous in Southern California. I mean, obviously I did not leave because of the weather.
and John, I got to tell you, that's one of the main reasons I stay, because of the weather.
It's definitely a draw. And I mean, I miss the weather in the sense that, as I said, I'm very physically active. I like playing sports. I like playing tennis. I like playing golf. I like running. I like all kinds of things that you do outdoors. And so, and in Southern California, all of those things are possible 12 months a year, which is nice.
John, have you taken my advice, which I've told you many times before, and that's to stop running like on concrete or cement and to only run like on sand or grass or anything like that?
Well, it's funny you should mention that. I've stopped running in Olympia Park, which is basically concrete, but not because of that. I got tired of falling down and injuring myself.
Well, that's why I told you to stop running on concrete, because if you run on sand or run on grass, hopefully if you slip or misstep, you're not going to get like, seriously injured.
Well, I'm not running on grass or sand, but I have a park directly across the street from me, literally across the street. I go down to the corner and cross at the light, and I'm in the park. And it's basically gravel paths. It's not cement. So and some of it's just wood, some of it's just dirt, packed dirt. So it's pretty soft. So that's what I've been running on now for a while. That's where I'm training. I'll be running a 10K a week from tomorrow. And
you're going to run a 10K a week from tomorrow. And John, are you doing anything to prepare for that, or just living your daily life?
Oh no, I've been running pretty much every day. I didn't run today, but I've been running pretty much every day. You don't have to run the full distance when you go to a race, but I've been running like 7 kilometers a day, and I've been running at about 6.5 minutes a kilometer. When you get in the race, the adrenaline pumps you up.
So that's like an 8-minute mile. It's like
unfortunately, it's slower than that.
It's a 10-minute mile.
Yeah, it's about 9.5.
Gotcha.
But it's funny. I was having a conversation with my younger son, who will be doing the podcast with me after this one, and I said, I'm worried about my time, because in all the 10Ks I've run, and I've run a bunch of them, my times have always been. I mean, the slowest I've ever run is 58 minutes, and the fastest I ran was 52. So my times have all varied between 52 and 58 minutes for 10K. And I said, I'm concerned that I'm not going to be able to break an hour on Saturday. And it was funny. Jameson said to me, he said, Dad, he said, I'd be worried if you weren't concerned about your time. He said, in fact, if you weren't concerned about your time, I'd probably call my brother and say, I think Dad's dying.
Well, there you go. And thank you, everybody, for joining in to Work Comp Matters. And, John, I don't know if you heard, but the stock market, I think, was down finally about 900 points today. And they said they attributed it to the COVID in South Africa. But I think it's really suspect. I think one of the main the main contributing factors are that Black Friday is not going to be as profitable as it has been in the past 10 years. What do you think?
Well, that's true, but I think the stock market crashed, but I mean, it went down significantly because of the COVID thing. The fear is not. I mean, come on, let's face it. I don't want to be racist here, but economically, the southern part of Africa is not a huge percentage of the world economy. But the problem is that it does affect. It has a ripple effect. It has a ripple effect in terms of travel, and it has a ripple effect in terms of the supply chain, and all of that goes into it. And so I think, and if there's anything the stock market hates, it's uncertainty. And so right now, there's a great deal of uncertainty, especially because, remember, Europe is in the midst of a huge surge. And Europe definitely is a huge part of the world economy and a huge part of what goes on in the supply chain. So, that it makes sense that certain stocks, and the stocks that tanked were, in fact, the travel stocks tanked, the airline stocks tanked, Boeing tanked, all the stocks that you would think would be.
Everybody tanked, right?
Well, there were a couple of winners. I mean, the vaccine companies.
Right. The vaccine companies are fine. Everybody else tanked.
Yeah. But the companies that tanked big time, the ones I was mentioning, were precisely the ones you would expect to tank if the world economy doesn't, go back to where it was in terms of gearing up, in terms of travel, in terms of supply chain, in terms of demand for oil. I mean, those are exactly the stocks that you would expect to decline when this is on the horizon.
John, do you think that the other companies are coming back?
You mean the ones that the other companies being the ones that went down today in value?
Yeah, of course. I
Well,
think they will. I think they're coming back. It's just going to take time,
well, that's the
Yeah.
problem. The problem is that they were coming back now, and with what's happening now, nobody's certain that that's going to continue. And of course, in the United States, and remember, the United States is the biggest economy in the world, really, and it's without a doubt, even though the Chinese economy allegedly is nip and tuck with it, without a doubt, the American economy is the most influential in the world. I mean, the old saying goes, when America sneezes, the rest of the world gets a cold. And so right now, the American economy is being hit with a bunch of whammies. You've got inflation going on. You've got this temporary setback in the stock market. You've got an uncertain job market. You've got Joe Biden's dream plan that may or may not get through the Senate. All of America is sort of in a cocked hat right now. And when that happens, the whole world is in a cocked hat. I mean, you can't emphasize America's importance enough. I mean, I make jokes about it because you can't get away from America. I mean, when I'm here in Germany, I'm not that far from home in terms of cultural things. Like, I had my Thanksgiving dinner at the Hard Rock Cafe, okay, and it was an international.
Wait a minute. Wait, whoa. You had your Thanksgiving dinner at the Hard Rock Cafe in Munich, Germany. Did I hear you right, John Scalia?
Yes, absolutely. And the Hard Rock Cafe in Munich, Germany is across the street from the Hofbrauhaus.
John, you are amazing. So how long were you at the Hard Rock Cafe? Like 2 hours, 3 hours, 5 hours?
Yeah, we were there from like 7 o'clock to 10. The new regulations require restaurants to close at 10. We started at 7. We left at 10.
And John, when you say we, if it's not too personal, were you with friends, family? Who were you there with?
It was part of I belong to this group called Internations, which is an expat organization. It's huge. In Munich alone, it has over 11,000 members. And yeah, because Munich is a business hub, okay? And so it was organized by a friend of mine who's in charge of the American group, even though he's a German. He loves America. He goes there more often than I do. And, he organized it. There were like 50 of us in the group. I mean, we had tons of tables that were reserved for us. And the Hard Rock did a great Thanksgiving dinner. I mean, I have to admit, it looked like total Americana. It was, and I wore my the son who does the podcast with me. My younger son is going to do the sports podcast with me after this one.
Right.
I wore his high school jersey to it. I figured, come on, it's American Thanksgiving.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
What, that I can still, that it fits me or what?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, it's got his name on it. The funny thing is, I had to wear it last night because they shipped me a care box, mementos from the house. They sold the house in Santa Clarita, So I got the box, and included in the box was my elementary school baseball uniform from the 1950s. And it's in perfect shape. I mean, you could put it on a kid tomorrow and he could play in it. It's perfect.
Yeah. The only problem is Mickey Mantle didn't play in it.
No, that's true. That's nobody of any import played in it.
John, I was just saying that if it was a 70-year-old game jersey worn by Mickey Mantle, it probably would be worth $50,000. But because it was played by John Scalia, it might be worth I don't know, $10 or whatever. I don't know.
It's all I'm saying. Okay, so what I'm saying is it was amazing. It even came in the original box that I got when I was a kid. I mean, it's in great shape. And it was made in America by Wilson Sporting Goods back when America made things in America. And it's in perfect shape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to frame the top of my elementary school baseball uniform and my younger son's high school jersey, and I'm going to put them in a big frame and hang them on my wall.
That is wonderful. We've got about 3 minutes left in the show. And by the way, for those of you listening on Facebook Live, we've just been joined by Asia in Clubhouse. and we're simulcasting here for the first time on Clubhouse. So, Asia, just in case you don't know, John is in Munich, Germany. I'm in Los Angeles, California. If you have a question for John or myself regarding anything to do with employers, employees, independent contractors, or just your Black Friday, this is the time to ask. We've got about 2 minutes left.
Okay, so I have a little 9 to 5 job going on, and what do you? And I just started this job. What do you do? Like, how do you act with towards someone who you know is not genuine? And what I mean is that this person was an employee just like me, and they got promoted to management. But prior to that, she showed actions she showed not so genuine actions that made me feel like I should not trust her as a coworker. So how do I interact with her without putting myself in trouble?
I think that is an excellent question. And John, what I think we should do is we should close out the Facebook Live podcast. And then, John, if you're okay, I'm okay. We can hang out on Clubhouse for, 5-10 minutes and discuss that. Is that okay with you, John?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, great. So, no, great. So, Asia, that is an excellent question. Hang out for just a minute. We're going to close out the official podcast, and then John and I will answer. John and I want to thank everybody for joining us on the mancavepodcasting.com Work Comp Matters podcast. If you want to do your own podcast anywhere in the world, all you need is a smartphone or a computer, and we will manage it, direct it, produce it, stream it live like we're doing right now, and then it'll be put into the cloud forever, all for one low fee. Everybody have a fantastic Thanksgiving weekend. Asia, stick around, and we will answer your question on Clubhouse. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.